The seagulls follow the trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double doon. Don't back down, double doon.
Yes, here we go. The Bhoycie bus is back. It is the Double Doon Show. Don't back down. Double Doon. If you're going to be late, make sure the show is great. I am delighted to be joined. He's part of the family. He is like part of the Bhoycie bus family that is ever growing. You may well be familiar with his laddie, David Logue, the TNF maestro. It's Johnny Logue tonight, though. Johnny, how the devil are you? And welcome aboard the bus.
Evening, boys and girls. Thanks for having me on. I'm shaking like a fucking shitting dog here at the minute, to be honest with you.
I find it ridiculous that folk get there, mate. Honestly, it's the best laugh ever, mate. Honestly, there's nothing. Like what we've always tried to do with the bus, and I think this is why folk love it, right? There's 84 live, by the way, not to make you shite yourself anymore already, but there's 84 live already, right? Do you know why folk like the bus? All we ever started to do for the get-go was stop the myth of there's an us and them vibe. Podcasters being like they knew more about Celtic than Celtic fans. Bullshit. We all know everything there is to know about our club. We all love our club. We can all talk about our club. This is the platform to do it. This is the Bhoycie bus. Johnny, we have to, though, celebrate when we have success. Now, this isn't self-indulgent, but all I'm going to say is there any endless Celts in the group chat tonight?
It has to be said that was a quality performance last night.
Home and away, mate. Home and away. Honestly, Celtic might not have won a knockout round since 2004, but I tell you what, Johnny, the Bhoycie bus just keeps rolling, mate, and we need to get better competition than that, honestly. Endless Celts, I like those guys, but fuck me, they're terrible. They don't have it. I even stepped out. I thought, you know what, I'm going to play the kids. You know what I mean? The youth team, you know what I mean? Kind of like the Colts side.
I heard you done your hamstring.
Okay, good. Well, you know, that's another story altogether. But I just felt, you know, what we'll do, you know, obviously we've got the Lowland League title to go for this season. I'll play the Colts, and we still went there, mate, on their own home turf. They played their ace in the pack. Oh, I'm getting a wee echo here. They played their ace in the pack, and that was it Tony? And Tony, who I think was excellent, he just didn't have the bollocks to say, no, I know you're captain, but I'm right. And see if that happens, you're screwed. So Endless Celts, they've go with their tail between their legs. And now we've got the Jungle Gyms podcast trying to challenge us on Twitter. I think he's already given up trying to get a verbal with me, that Paddy lad. I'm only kidding. All good fun, Johnny. But if anyone else wants to take us on any sort of quiz, I've got a team there ready to rock and roll. This bus does not stop, Johnny Logue.
It's got to be said, Bhoycie, if that's your Colts team, if the Celtic Colts team's got some stars like that hiding in there, we want to be getting them in there.
You know it, mate. You know it. And let's hope the fingers crossed that they do. Well, actually, that's a great talking point, and we can talk about that probably next season. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what influence Ange's going to have on that Colts team, because we know he takes the whole club very seriously. He's looking at everything from top to bottom, and I believe youth development was very, very high on Angie's agenda. So that'll be interesting to see how that conveyor belt starts to progress as the years go by, and hopefully Angie's obviously at the helm during that. You
keep talking about the Ajax plan,
yep.
Bhoycie, and I think the first person at Celtic who started talking about the Ajax plan was Tommy Burns. Although they've changed their plan a bit now, where they sell on and they still spend a bit of money. Back in Tommy Burns' day, when he was looking at the Ajax plan, they sold, brought through, and I think with Ange, we might just be able to start looking to do that.
I think it's a great point. What I always want though, is you can't keep going and buying for the same level, right? And then selling. So Celtic's selling policy, Johnny, right, is always going up a tier, right? It's going up a tier. So it was Moussa Dembele, 19 million. Then it was Kieran Tierney, 25 million. Edouard only had a year left and we got 18 million. To me, if that's 2 years left, he's probably 25, 30 million. Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
So we seem to be very progressive in terms of our valuation of selling, yet are continually still going for the lowest branch in terms of recruitment. And that's where us and Ajax completely differ. If Ajax sell a player, I don't know, 25, 30 million, they'll invest 10, 15 million on the replacement. Celtic will sell a player for 25, 30 million and replace it with the same 2.5, 3 million. And I think that is where our progress and Ajax's progress completely stops. Now, I get the fact you could look at Juranovic and say, well, it's not done that bad for us. But over the course, if we're being completely realistic, over the piece, if you continuously keep knocking on £2 million doors, you are going to have a mixed bag of results, okay? A mixed bag. If you're continually knocking on £10 million doors, £8 to £10 million doors, I'm going to have a higher strike rate, in my opinion, than what you will continually going for the lowest branch and open for a wee bit of fruit. That is my take on it. But Johnny, we've got more exciting news before we get stuck into all this, mate. We're already debating Celtic already. I love that. But we have very exciting news. Is everyone ready for it? It's an exclusive, Johnny, on the Boise bus.
Go on then.
Now, many have wanted to know when we will go live. The Boise bus is going live 31st of July, Flag Day. We are going to be that night headlining the KT Celtic Supporters Club, the Bullfrog in Motherwell. We are going to be live. The Boise bus is doing post-match pish. There's going to be live music. There's going to be walk-on music for all the contributors. There's going to be the post-match pish as if it was a podcast on camera. There is going to be a lot of fun to be had. We'll probably do a wee Q&A with people asking me wee naughty questions. I'll probably indulge. I know Feed the Bear wants a reunion feed, but I'm telling you right now, mate, absolutely not. Absolutely not, mate. But what will happen is we will be live at the Bullfrog on Flag Day. Once the game's finished, make your new plan. Come to Motherwell and come see the bus live in action. Huge news for us. It's going to be great fun.
Sounds like it'll be a good night.
Aye, mate. Oh, I know how to do it, man. It'll be brilliant. And I just want everyone, I know there's obviously going to be all the contributors like your lad, David, who's the face of the TNF now. He's going to be obviously there, the likes of Phil McGinley, etc. But I want you guys, everyone who's made themselves a member in the YouTube channel, everyone who just watches religiously every single time we go live, like Stevie Kenny, for example. It's amazing. I want you guys there. It'll be brilliant to meet you. Now, ticket prices, I hear you ask, how much? You know the bus is your bus, my bus, our bus. Zero. No ticket required. Free entry. We've sorted it all. If there's any expenses, they will come to my bank account and I'm happy to pay them. And I look forward just to getting as many of you in the room. We'll just get some good photos. It will go mad. As David Logue says, like Martin Tyler would, and it's live. It'll be brilliant fun. And I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, how did you get a ticket for it? Fuck all that. Just come to the Bullfrog. We'll be there. There's going to be live music. And it's not going to be Celtic songs, Irish songs. We are going to be doing rock and roll covers. We've got an amazing musician. I'm not going to reveal who that is as of yet, but we are going to have a fantastic night. Stevie Kenny wants to know if I'm buying him a pint. If you want a pint, mate, I'll buy you a pint. Not a problem, mate. Bought plenty of people a pint over the years. If you want a pint, you'll get a pint. But Johnny, we need to talk about Celtic because that's been 11 minutes already. As I say,
that's why we're here.
It does fly in, mate. It does fly in. Now, recruitment. Celtic have to be busy. They have to be busy right now. It's the summer. We expect Ange to get his work done early based on the January transfer window, based on how quickly he managed to assemble a team as well with such limited time last summer. We're now looking at it going, no Champions League qualifiers. All right, that's good. That's good. Settled squad. That's good. Identified targets. That's good. Everything is there in front of Celtic. We know what our budget is already, which is a wonderful position to be in. We know exactly when our first game of the season is because there's none of these silly qualifiers. We also have a season now under Ange where the positions that need to be improved on, and I'm not criticising any of those positions for anyone was, always you can improve, right? But the ones that need maybe more improvement than others have all been identified in the past 12 months, as opposed to trying to put it all together in one big jigsaw in one summer. Celtic in a position of strength. Ange now has decided it's time to strengthen both on and off the pitch. Now, obviously, we've brought in Harry Kewell. Now, I think there is a bit of excitement about this now, Johnny. Harry Kewell comes with a wee bit of he's got a pedigree. As a footballer growing up, when I was young, he was an absolutely outstanding player. He was good. I think he was voted Australia's greatest ever. And just referenced him a few times in interviews. Now, when it comes to off the field, the interesting thing about Ange's revolution, as it's turned out to be, despite the fact I didn't expect that at the time, and I didn't, but it's the truth. It's been a revolution, and he's been a revelation. But what he never did, Johnny, was strengthen the backroom team. Now, since this came this summer, Mark Lawwell, we all know, is either incoming or he's in the door. I don't really know what the story is there. Harry Kewell's already been unveiled. That's two members off the field now. Is Ange doing the work normally he would have done last summer had it not been such a hash bash, let's hope this works sort of a summer window last year?
I think from what we've seen and heard of Ange over the last 12 months, it tends to be the way he works. He's quite happy to work on his own, as we've all said before. And he did say on his very first day with us that he would have a look at things and he would see how things were, see how it went, and if he decided to change things, he would change things. So he's now obviously had a look at it and he's decided he's going to change some things, which is not unexpected. I was a bit surprised at the Harry Kewell coming in because his football record is, speaks for itself. Fantastic player, especially when he was at Leeds. He was good at Liverpool, but maybe not quite as the same as he was at Leeds. He did win he won a Champions League at Liverpool, if I remember rightly.
I think he.
I'm sure he did because my mate's a big Liverpool.
Yeah,
fan,
he would have been there then. Yeah, he would have been there then. Yeah, he
did come on. I think he came on as a sub actually in Istanbul.
Good knowledge. It's good knowledge, mate. It's good knowledge.
But his coaching record, or his management record rather, has been well under the radar, shall we say. He's not pulled up any trees. But you don't have to be a good manager to be a good coach. There's plenty of good coaches out there who haven't made it as managers. People like Brian Kidd, who was a back in the day, obviously, because I'm a good bit older than some of you that are on here. And he was a quality coach.
Yep.
Don't think he ever made it in management. I think he had a little go at Bournemouth, if I remember rightly.
Who's this?
Brian Kidd.
Bournemouth.
Man City and Man United.
Was he?
I think he may have had something to do with Bournemouth.
I think he took the manager's job at Blackburn after being assistant.
He did actually, yeah, Blackburn, yeah. Yeah, he was Blackburn, definitely. But he never pulled up any trees as a manager, but as a coach, nobody ever said a bad word about him. And we've been hearing good things about Harry Kewell as a coach and as a potentially, I suppose, as an attacking coach to deal with the actual, the attacking section of the team. And I think that's where his remit's going to be.
I think it's very interesting that Ange, as we've spoke about this on the bus, and I know, Johnny, you've been watching the show. David's told me, which I am delighted that you, by the way, and I appreciate it, mate. We have spoke about how in a twisted way, Ange being isolated on his own, is kind of turned into now his biggest bullet in the gun, because right now Ange Postecoglou holds all the aces, every ace, and all the joker cards as well, because he did all that on his own. He has built not just a championship winning team, but he's also now kept the boardroom dinosaurs happy as well, because there is, whether we like it or not, 30 to 40 million pounds incoming because of Ange's achievements.
Oh, yeah. Don't freeze on me, Bhoycie.
Say that again?
I said, don't freeze on me. Oh, it looks like he's left me on my own. Oh, well, he has left me on my own. Oh, well, folks, while he was talking about that, I think he was talking about the £40 million we've got incoming. And I'm sure it's burning a hole in quite a few of our pockets.
Sorry about
that,
back. Mate. Sorry about that, mate. I don't know why this is...
You were talking about the £40 million we've got incoming. It's burning a hole in your pocket, Bhoycie.
It is burning a hole in my pocket as well, because I've got a few plans of £40 million. But no, I think when you've got the board appeased that way, you've got the trophies as well, it does now have, a serious argument to go, whatever my next move is, you have to back it. And I think that comes both on the pitch, as I say, and off the pitch. And the important thing now for Ange Postecoglou is he is about to enter the toughest competition there is in club football, the Champions League. I feel a lot of people think, right? A lot of people think, Johnny, Ange has got to just go in and be Ange Postecoglou and we'll cruise the Champions League. Well, I'm sorry, if that is the case, right? If that is the case, Ange is going to approach it with Ange Ball, as it was known, then he needs better tools. He needs a better support. He needs a better support system around him, and he's going to need better players. Undoubtedly. Despite the fact there's been a lot of progress made in the past 12 months, 10 months, we just have to accept the fact that the Champions League is a different entity altogether. This is now a world Celtic are not even remotely familiar with, tragically, because of our own club's ambitions, for me, haven't matched certainly the supporters and probably at least one of our last very good managers, sort of aspirations as well. When we enter this now, Postecoglou's earned them the money. He has to be given as much of that money as is possible and is feasible that he demands. And I like the fact now, Johnny, he's looking not just at potential player signings. Obviously the Cameron Carter, Vickers, Jotas are the headline grabbers in terms of signings, but off the field, 2 additions as well. Matt Lawwell and, of course, Harry Kewell now. How important is it that Ange gets now the structure behind him right as we take on a gauntlet, mate? And it's a gauntlet that it's not a familiar trodden road anymore. In the 2000s, Johnny, this was familiar territory for Celtic under both O'Neill, Strachan. It was Martin O'Neill Clarkson. But it was. But we have to get real and say, Now it is foreign land for us. He has to be back now. And for me, it's very encouraging, the fact that he's looking at this from a bigger landscape than just the 11 guys on the pitch. He knows now he needs a support network. Harry Kuehl and Mark Lawwell are going to provide that, right?
Hopefully. I mean, I've got no idea. And I quite like the fact that I don't have any idea what Mark Lawwell looks like. I mean, if he passed me in the street, I wouldn't know who he was. I think some of these guys need to stay in the background. Likewise with who's the chief executive now? Nicholson, is it? Took over from
Mark Nicholson. Yep.
Yeah.
Mark Nicholson.
I like the idea of the fact that 2 or 3 years ago, when you mentioned Lawwell, as in Peter Lawwell, everybody knew who he was. You pictured him in your mind. But with this Nicholson, I couldn't picture the guy. And I like the fact these guys do your job in the background, and we don't really need to see it. You're not there to be in the press. You're not there to be in the papers. You're there to provide the background and the tools for our manager, who is the front man of the club. For us, that's who we want to know. That's who we want to hear talking, not you guys. He tells you what he wants. He tells you what he needs, and you provide him with what you can. Yep. All right? You can't empty the pot, because we've seen what happened to a certain club when they did empty the pot and a bit more, and we don't want to be going down that road, but we want to be able to challenge. We don't want to just be there making up numbers, and neither does Ange Postecoglou. He wants to be there to challenge. He goes in everything he does to win.
I agree with that.
I bet he doesn't even let his kids win at Tiddlywinks.
Totally, mate. It's true, but I don't mind that attitude. But it's very interesting what you say there. And I think this is such a deep-rooted thing with Celtic fans, or the Celtic as a club. I'm getting a wee echo here. I don't know if it's mine or your end, Johnny.
I'm not getting nothing, mate.
I hate when I can hear myself like feeding back, man. But what's very interesting for me is, does it need to be so black and white? Does it need to be, oh, well, we don't want to spend because we don't want to go bust? I mean, come on. There has to be, there's so much more middle ground here. There is so much more middle ground that Celtic have never even tentatively speculated in. That really is where the fans' frustration comes from. And now, because of the example across the city, the board have this unbelievable excuse. This, real evidence where they go, oh, whoa, do you want us to end up like that? And that is actually a pile of nonsense. The honest truth is, Johnny, that is a load of shit. That is not the case. The fact of the matter is, like we were talking about the Ajax model at the start, Celtic have not supported the management team, whoever it may have been, enough over the last 10 to 15 years. Celtic have won, since the turn of the millennium, 16 out of 21 titles. How many times have they been in the Champions League in those? I would guess 7 or 8. That's not Ajax, mate. That's not. Well, I would say since 2000, because O'Neill would have had us in a couple of times. Strachan last 16 a couple of times. Brendan Rodgers a couple of times. Yeah, you're looking at 6.
Yeah.
That's shocking. There's no excuse for it to be that low.
It's not even a 50% hit rate, is it?
No. And don't tell me that is a club that, and I just feel that there's this windshield now where it's, oh, well, windshield? Does that make sense? Anyway, there's just there's something like this wee sort of facade where we can all go, oh, but you don't want to end up like they did. I don't think we're chasing winning the Champions League, guys. We just want to enter it every year. We've won the title 16 out of the last 21 times. We certainly ain't been at the champions table. That is the table we want to dine at, Johnny. Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens when you dine at the table? The more you dine at it, the further through your dinner you get.
The more you get used to it, and the more accustomed to it you become, and the better you become.
Johnny, right now, Celtic in the Champions League can't get through the soup and the roll. But I am telling you, if they keep investing, we'll be there. Eat and fill it, mate. We'll make a last 16. See that Gordon Strachan team that made the last 16 twice? Don't tell me the gulf, Johnny, has changed that dramatically. People are focused, so obsessed with money. I watched us take AC Milan with Nesta, Kaka, Ambrosini, Seedorf, Maldini. That team was a shambles how good it was, right? And we took them to extra time at over 2 legs with McManus, Caldwell,
Yeah.
you know, like Paul Hartley, like Neil Lennon was about 40 playing in midfield. The gulf is the same. Just the wages seem crazy now. I genuinely think we have to, now that we've got the guaranteed group stage, this is the season for me where we can take it to, we're going to be in this every year from now on.
We've got to try and take it to another level, yeah.
How important is it for you, Johnny, that Celtic don't just focus on being a wee bit better than Rangers, but actually now start focusing on dining at the Champions League table that we're discussing right now?
We need to forget about Rangers and just do what we do and crack on with it.
But that's not the case. We have to be real here, Johnny.
Make sure that we're the best and we're the only team in Scotland that they talk about.
But Johnny, we need to, right, so I'm going to just jump in very quickly because quite evidently, based on everything we just discussed there, Johnny, that hasn't been Celtic's attitude. Celtic's attitude, Johnny, has been about being a bit better than Rangers. We took the foot off the pedal, then they got back to the big league. We put the foot down again with Rodgers. We coasted clear, took the foot off the pedal again, right? We went with the downgrade manager, Neil Lennon. Then we went all out for Eddie Howe, which would have been a foot down on the pedal again moment. We got the second option, which to me, I think Andrew's, it's good fortune. Now, though, we have to, in my opinion, start thinking about European football. But you're right, we shouldn't think about Rangers. Would you agree, though, Celtic do?
Oh, yeah, too much. It's like you've just said. If you'd reversed the situation and if it had been us that had been relegated, they would have. If you go even further back to David Murray's days,
yes,
I mean, his intention was to wipe us off the face of the earth. When we were 10 minutes from the bank closing us down, I don't seem to recall all this massive support from anybody else to keep us alive. David Murray would have quite happily tightened that hold on our throat and he would have suffocated us and just destroyed us. They would be quite happy to see us go. And when they went down, that's when we should have put the turbo boosters on and said, right, we really need to push on here and get so far ahead of them that they can't get back at us. But we didn't. Then they did get back at us. And I'll tell you now, Bhoycie, last year, through that shambles of the end of the 10 in a row hope, I was really worried that, we're going to go back through another 5, 6, 7 years of complete mediocrity because this shower have just destroyed us.
Yeah.
But we got lucky and won a watch. And that's what we did do. Got to make sure we don't lose that watch now.
That's a good point. It's a good point, mate. And you know what? The thing is as well, and again this summer, you can see it over the old Twitter sphere or whatever social media platform it is that you use. You see already the naysaying, the poo-pooing of all of the team from across the cities, recontracting, etc., and laughing at them. Oh, they must be skint. Well, do you know what? See, for a skint club, they were in the most recent 2 European finals that a Scottish club's been in. And see, when you actually remove their 5 years when they're in their formation years or the reformation or the journey, whatever you want to call it. But you take those 5 years out, realistically, they've made 2 European finals in the space of 10. That is a damning statistic.
Oh, yeah.
With Celtic hasn't won a knockout match since Villa, the tie before Villarreal. 2004, we went out to Villarreal in the UEFA Cup quarter-finals. Who did we put out in the last 16? Whoever that was, anyway, I can't remember. That was our last win in a knockout game in Europe.
It's actually embarrassing, isn't it?
Shocking. And we have not, and I don't accept as well, I don't like to go down the road of we had a free run at it, Johnny. We still had league titles to win. It's not our fault that other clubs weren't there. That's not our problem. When they were winning 9 in a row in the 90s, the David Murray era, Celtic only finished second 3 out of those 9 years. People forget that, So it's actually. Tell me
about it, Bhoycie. I unfortunately had to live through it.
That was me too. That was my early existence as a Celtic fan, Johnny.
Yeah.
But what is crazy is how, when we look at 16 out of 21 ratio, when we look at a club that seems to have, I think, the envy of a lot of other European sides, mate, because we've got something. Celtic is unique in so many ways. We are worldwide known. We have an unreal stadium, an unbelievably famous fan base. We have all the tools. Yet it's underachievement after underachievement on the European stage. And I think Ange is getting the backroom team right. I think a lot of his transfer business, Jonathan was saying on the Monday Club, he thinks it'll all be done by the end of July, not the end of August, the end of July. He thinks it'll all be done. It'll be done. He was like, no more business will be done after that. Because Ange is taking this campaign that seriously. This isn't about Ange keeping himself 6 points clear, by the way, of Rangers anymore. This is about Ange saying, I want to make an impact in the Champions League. I need my chessboard set up in a manner to do so. I now need guys around me with the same vision, and that is going to be Harry Kuehl implementing his ideologies in the players. And it means Mark Lowell being the guy who resonates with the type of player Ange sees as a good fit for Celtic. We're beginning to see moments of this already, are we not, Johnny?
I actually thought we might have had a bit more done by now, because they're back in training on Monday, aren't they? Those that haven't been on international duty. So I thought we might have had 2 or 3 more already wrapped up. I thought Ange would have wanted some in time for the day one of pre-season training. I thought that's what we might have done. That's why I thought Jota might have been done by now, because we've had plenty of time to do it. I'm convinced that deal's already done, by the way. I think it's just a case of announcing it.
ITL. He's the same as his laddie. IT in the log. He is in the log. No, I agree with you, John. I think Jota is done as well. I know, I agree. On you go, sorry. I just had to that was funny.
No, I was just going to say, I'm convinced the Jota deal was done. And we're just waiting on the announcement. And I thought it might have been, mind you, he's been on, from what I can gather, he's been on quite a good holiday, hasn't he?
Well, aye, it's quite refreshing, Jota. Apparently, he just goes up to him and goes, "Can I have beers with you?" Like, that's one of the groups folk. They're like, "That's just mad." Sound, mate. I think they were Liverpool fans, and they were like, "There's Jota who plays for Celtic." Just like, could obviously tell that their native tongue was English. They were like, "Is it great to have a few beers with you?" Ended up drinking with him all night. But like, I don't think he'd be caning it the same way, Jack Grealish is. But you know what I mean? I think the Jota deal is done. I think he'll coincide with the shirt release. I mean,
to be honest with you, I said to David earlier on, if that deal wasn't done, and if it wasn't happening, I think Celtic would have come out by now and said it's not happening, regardless of the bad or the bad publicity, if you like, or whatever way you want to put it. I think they'd have just said, look, I don't think Ange would have fucked about. He'd have just said, look, the deal's not happening. We're gonna have to move on. The fact they haven't said anything means that I think that's saying everything.
You're right, mate. You are right. I completely subscribe to that. Scott Cameron's wanting to shout out because he fell off his bike and he grazed his wee face, and he's been telling us on the WhatsApp. We're only kidding, Scott. I hope you're all right, mate. I hope you're all right. Watch what you're doing on that bike. I know you spent £100 to fix it. I thought it was like, you know what I mean? I thought it was a chopper. He was fucking cycling. Do you know what I mean? Guys,
don't talk to me about choppers. They're the worst fucking bike in history, them things.
I think Scott's been cutting about the Batmobile, judging by the amount of grazes in his face. But anyway, we will move on. There's just shout out, Scott. You can sit tight now, mate. Always good in the hood. Let's talk about the areas of the park that Ange Postecoglou is identifying, Johnny, because, see, to be honest with you, it's very funny that I think there was a general consensus about the areas he needed to strengthen for both the fans and clearly the club and Ange as well. Do you know what I mean? 2 defensive midfielders have been linked with. You've got Vinicius Souza, who seems to be the expensive option and the more coveted option. And then there's the lad Semedo, who has had kind of unspectacular loan spells at both Swansea, I believe, and definitely Reading.
Forest, I think it was it not?
Was
not
it Forest?
Yeah.
I got Swansea in my head. Anyway, Reading was one of them. And if it was not in Forest, I bow to your knowledge, sir.
I'm only saying that because I was actually reading a Nottingham Forest site on Facebook or whatever, and it wasn't exactly what you would call giving them glowing tributes, like.
Yeah, it was very underwhelming. His sort of backstory. So the Semedo one, I've got to admit, I was a wee bit when it was kind of looked like it was done. I thought, wow. That's a wee bit of a come down from the Vinicius Souza, which seems the glamorous name. I always like the fact when there's big clubs chasing a player. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm just here to play a mugs game, Johnny. I can go, oh, well, you want to sniff about the market. We're Celtic, mate. You're the signing for us or you're not. You know, PSV Eindhoven, fuck off. The stadium used to be called the Phillips Stadium. Phillips. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want us to call it like the Gillette Park. Do you know what I mean? Come on. But what I do think is the areas of the park, Johnny, would you agree? Goalkeeper, left back, holding role. Would that be the three players you've identified first as well if you were to have been the man pulling the strings at Celtic?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what everybody would do. And I've got to say, I do think we've already strengthened the goalkeeper position with Seacrest.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is these are the three areas he's clearly identified first. Would they have been the three? Aye, would they have been the three you'd have identified as well?
Yeah, definitely goalkeeper. A left back just to... Because Taylor, I like Taylor.
Me too.
Domestically. Europe, I'm not so sure of, but over the last couple of months, he's definitely come on a ton. Like, you know, he has improved, and that might be down to coaching and just listening to what he's been told and doing what he's been told and playing the way he's been told. But you definitely need cover. I mean, like say, and I don't, you know, I hate to say it because I always want guys that have come through the ranks to make the grade, but I don't know if Welsh does. It doesn't fill me full of confidence.
No.
You know, I don't think I'd look at the team sheet and think, oh, Welsh is playing, you know, instead of Starfelt, who, by the way, I did not rate when he first started with us either. I'd made my mind up for him in 10 minutes, which he has changed, it's got to be said. I remember Starfelt's first game, 10 minutes, I sent a message to David, this guy's pish. But,
I know.
You know, he's turned us round. You know, don't make snap judgments and whatnot. But yeah, definitely.
It's our right to do that, though, as Celtic fans, is it not? Is that not what we're here for? Of course, we make snap judgments.
I mean, some guy can be shite for 89 minutes, but if he scores a winning goal against Rangers, he becomes the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, you know, I mean, like, say, I do like Taylor, but I do think we need strength in there, and that looks like we're doing that. Although I've got to say, all the clips I've seen of that lad, I'd like to see a bit more defensive clips of defenders when we sign them. They always seem to be attacking fullbacks and bombing up the wing and banging in a couple of goals or a cross. I want to see them defending. I want to know what they're like defending.
Absolutely.
That's the main job. If you buy somebody to play at fullback, inverted fullback, whatever you want to call him, his main objective is to defend. So I want somebody who can.
Is it though? Yeah. Is it though in the modern day? Is it though?
Well,
is that an old school? Is that an old school tape? Because I actually agree with you. Can I just say, for me, fundamentally, that is exactly what I'm looking for. I agree with Johnny Logue right now, 100%. I am not convinced, Johnny. That is now the prerequisite that you are looking for in a fullback. I think the first qualities you're looking for in a fullback is engine, delivery.
Well, put it this way, if you've got a fullback, if you've got a fullback that stops Jota getting down the wing and put a cross in, then we're not fucking scoring, are we? So we want the same one on our fullbacks, who stops Kent getting down the wing and scoring and crossing and setting up a goal. That's what a fullback should do. But I'm old school, yeah? But
yeah, I get it.
Defend. And that's what I like about Starfelt now. Starfelt, when he defends, is quality. When he thinks he's Franz Beckenbauer, not quite the quality.
Yeah, he doesn't like the ball at his feet full stop. I know he doesn't like timing the ball.
I get the fear when every time he wants to pass that ball with his left foot and he almost does a bad ballerina's pirouette and fall over.
I know. I think there is a place for that as well. I've got to push back a wee bit, though. I do believe that whether we like it or not, and I'm kind of more on your mindset, I think, on this than Angie's, but we also need to kind of at times take a step back and accept Angie's going to do it his way, right? And I am convinced that the fullback, for example, from Argentina, what is it, Bernabé? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Bernabé. I don't believe he's been signed to be that guy you've just described. I don't think he's there to stop a Jota per se. You know, I think he's there to give us another attacking outlet when we've got, you know, the ball. I think he'll be positioned when Joe Hart's taking a bye kick. I think he'll be in the halfway line, mate. I think that is just, we just need to strap ourselves in with that one, you know? And the thing is...
Yeah, I mean, I go along with that. So long as he can defend it at the other end when he has to. That's all I ask of them.
I think
that tackling.
It's a very interesting point, though, Johnny, because remember we were fed with fountains of knowledge from our man Dan from Japan, Orlovich, or whoever he is.
Your favourite.
Just a plant pot, mate. You know what I mean? Just talking shite. I can't remember people just talking shite to me and coming on with like as if I'm in the know. You guys must sit down and listen. He just talks shite. And I hate for that. But genuinely, I don't mind. Well, I talk a lot of shite, but I'm not doing it kidding on. I'm in an ivory tower, all knowing. That's how he was conducting himself, you know. And he was basically, you know, trying to tell us that, Ange doesn't care about defence. These are the sort of phrases he was using, Johnny. It's utter nonsense. Look at what Ange is, the only partnership he refused to buckle on all season, whilst there was a £7 million defender waiting in the wings to get a run out. He refused to do it because he knew the foundations of his team was built on defence. However, let's play devil's advocate.
And then when he was forced to do it, he put him straight back in again once a suspension or an injury was over. Straight back in the team. You're my rock, and that's where their attacks are going to flounder, on my rock. And I'm not weakening that rock in any way, shape, or form.
You're spot on, and it's funny because what Ange also did was when Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers played together, we didn't actually lose a league game. Not one.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
He recognises that, though. So this is the thing. I think centre-backs Ange is going to view differently than what he is the full-backs. I think the full-back area might have to be a strap yourself in and watch them go. I think Juranovic is going to get plenty license to the Champions League. I think Bernabei is going to get plenty license in the Celtic jersey. And I know what you're saying about Greg Taylor. I respect it. I think second half of the season he became a far better player than I probably
any of us thought he was.
For. However, as I was saying earlier, we're now going into a different realm. This is a completely different competition than what Greg Taylors of the world, with all due respect, have ever competed in. And I mean, even at international level, the Champions League is still a level above whatever you've done in the Scotland jersey, Greg. You know? And I think it's very wise of Ange to be recognising that and going, we'll get someone else in. Interestingly enough, though, Bernabei, for example, excites me. Does he excite me because he's Argentinian? I don't know. I think there maybe is a bit of that. I think maybe the simplicity of being a football fan at times, I look at it and go, South American, a bit of va-va-voom, you know, and the fullbacks. I think of Izagiri's first season. And I genuinely thought that was like the new Bobby Carlos. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he was superb in that first season. The ankle break in Aberdeen finished him off, to be fair.
It did. I agree. But he was like, it was just a breath of fresh air the way he played the game. The way he played was just totally different to what we were used to. Could someone like Bernabei have that impact? We certainly hope so. I also now have this sense of excitement about me with that signing, Johnny. And I wonder if you agree on this, because everyone else Ange's signed that's done well, none of us knew before they signed for Celtic. Let's be honest.
Well, that's it with Ange at the minute, you know, because he's had such a good strike rate, you know, and he has got an extensive knowledge of players all around the world. If you watch any of the documentaries about him, he spent the world scouring people who may or may not be eligible to play for Australia. So he's got a back catalogue of God knows how many players that he's already planning on. I think, you know, he'll do a job for me. And I think he might even be already planning for the January transfer window. Never mind this one.
Yes, and that I think as well. What Andrew's now got is so much credit in the bank, Johnny. So much credit in the bank because there's such a list now of players none of us had heard of that are total successes.
How many players did Ange sign that we'd actually heard of this time last year? You know, the ones that we think of Ange signings, not the ones that
I get that.
And whatever.
I get, yeah, I think Mick McCarthy, that would be very interesting if he signed him. James McCarthy, Liam Scales, Joe Hart, I think were in Ange Productions.
No, I don't think Ange said, I want that man. He might have been offered them and had the final say.
I agree with you.
But the ones that he actually said, I want him, and him, how many have we even heard of? I mean, I've heard you talking about it before on the show. I was driving my bus on the way to work one day, or my car on the way to work one day. Celtic apparently signed this Japanese guy called Kyogo. I thought, right, fucking right. So they have. Half an hour later, it's getting confirmed on the next news bulletin. Never heard of him. Never heard of any of the others either. So he can pretty much sign whoever he wants at the minute. He's got all that credit. If he signs him, he must be good enough. That's the way I'm looking at it at the minute.
No, I love your attitude on that. I love your attitude on that. I think you're absolutely spot on. I just think that Ange's unknown signings almost are more teasing than the ones that we maybe do have a bit of, like we were saying about the what's he called, Semedo or whatever he's called. You know, the guy that's been at Reading, and that doesn't excite me. That because I'm like, he's a wee bit tried and tested in lower leagues, and maybe it's not that unfulfilling. Whereas Vinicius Souza, we know nothing about. Let's just tell the truth, right? None of us have watched him play. None of us have watched him play. Yeah, it gets you. It gets the tongues wagging, mate. It gets you excited because you go between £7 and £8 million for a guy part of the City group. So Andrew obviously has a wee bit of background, who is getting interest, sniffing about from PSVs, Ajaxes, etc. That just, I don't know. I think maybe we're just guilty of being simpletons as times as Celtic fans. But in my opinion, Johnny, that name would be a sexy signing this summer. You add that to Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers, and we get that Vinicius, I would already be starting to get extremely excited. And we'd also then be looking at, okay, that's now 3 Chris Sutton prices. You know, when was the last time we had a summer we had 3 Chris Sutton prices? Never.
Yeah, we've had, never. Yeah, Sutton, I think, and Hearts and Marie the same summer. They might have been. I can't remember.
Separate
summer. So we've never had it now. But again, like I said, you're going to get excited about players we don't know, and it's starting to almost get to the stage of I'm getting bored hearing people say it. In Ange we trust, but we do. We trust the guy completely. But you know, if as far as I'm concerned, if Ange signs you and he is an Ange signing, then you're good enough.
Absolutely.
Because he ain't signing you if he doesn't think you're good enough.
Johnny, I just want to quickly get your thoughts on this as well. And this is something I've been peddling for probably 12 months on various Celtic podcasts. Stepping Stone FC is how I would have described Celtic. I whilst I have spoke very highly of Brendan Rodgers at times, and me and Brown Warrior, for example, in the comments have very much disagreed on Brendan Rodgers' legacy, he's not beyond criticism. And my biggest issue with Rodgers was I felt he was signing players whispering in their ear about their next move. I don't think that's the right way for Celtic. I think it's about getting these guys in and then telling them they're at the biggest club in the world. And if you get a move, you'll be lucky. You must be doing something right. But you'll never get better than here. You will never get better than this cauldron. That when you play there and that Champions League music starts, and everyone just goes, it doesn't make any sense. But it will make sense when you're in that hoop jersey. That to me is how you sell Celtic. You sell Celtic as you might get a move to Fulham next year. Do you know what I mean? 20 million quid. Who gives a fuck? But I do believe Stepping Stone FC became a thing at Celtic. I think Ange is eradicating that. How important is it to you, Johnny, that Celtic, no matter who they sign this year, everyone that they do sign is signing for Celtic, not Stepping Stone FC.
Well, we want whoever signs to be here for the long haul. If Ange Postecoglou's saying I'm going to offer you a 5-year contract, then I'm expecting you to do 5 years, or at least 3 of those 5 years. And then if something comes along that's bigger, and when I say bigger, and the problem is nowadays is what is bigger to some people who come from, who aren't like us.
Great
I mean,
question.
we're Celtic supporters. We just can't, I've always, as a Celtic supporter, never been able to comprehend, why the fuck would you leave us? But even more and more nowadays, there is a reason for that they leave us, and it's £90,000 a week, £100,000 a week, £200,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like us. They haven't been brought up as Celtic supporters. They haven't been Celtic supporters since they were in nappies, like we have. So they haven't got that. They may get that bond, and some have. The Tom Roderick's of this world, I think they did have it.
Yep.
But when somebody like Paolo Di Canio left us to go to Sheffield Wednesday for probably more money than we were paying him, but fucking Sheffield Wednesday, it's like, all right, they're a decent team, but I mean, come on, they want Celtic. They shouldn't be going there. So they should be coming to sign for us, not us, and in 2 years' time down there. I don't dispute that players will have an ambition to play in the Premiership because it's the
We all know this.
best league in the world.
This is nothing new.
No.
This is not. I mean, we look at even Robert Lewandowski right now. He is, for me, one of the biggest predator strikers in Europe for the last decade at Bayern Munich. Guess what? He wants to challenge himself somewhere else. If Chelsea were to bat their eyelids at him, he would love to go. I know the Barcelona links are there, but that's all smokescreen in my opinion, because deep down, I think we all know Barcelona can't afford them. Lewandowski, at 34, recognises the one league he's not done it in, that he wants to in, is the EPL. So when you're at Celtic, you've got a 27-year-old Josip Juranovic. He's only played in the Polish top flight as his sort of career highlight, club-wise, obviously. Then is mixing it with Luka Modric's, etc. On international duty. You can't blame the guy for going, do you know what? It's a short career. I'm getting a sniff down there. Maybe. I know it's great being here. But it's a draw. It's a pull. But the fact of the matter is, the one thing we will all say, Juranovic didn't join on the basis he moves to the EPL. He joined, and if he leaves, it's with a heavy heart, not an Odsonne Edouard who spent actually 4 years with Celtic, and yet, in my opinion, had checked out before he'd even checked in at Crystal Palace. Juranovic, I do believe, genuinely would leave a wee bit gutted, but knowing he has to progress. I want that vibe, Johnny. I don't want them leaving.
Well, I've not heard anything yet, actually, from Juranovic, saying that Juranovic has actually said he would be interested in the move. It's
of course
other talk from elsewhere, and he may not be interested in it. But the one thing that we've got to say is everybody that's signed for us recently, they've all said, Matt O'Reilly, Seagrass, they've all said, a 5-minute phone call from Postecoglou convinced me. And I don't think he said to Seagrass, come and sign for us. I'll give you a couple of games and then you'll get a big move to the Premiership. Because he's not going to get that big move to the Premiership, not on a couple of games anyway. And he could have, I don't know who else. I did hear Bristol City or Rovers was sniffing around.
I mean? I know.
But, they're not big. Well, they probably are paying decent money, but he hasn't signed him. He convinced him to come and sign for Celtic on a phone call. He'd done it with O'Reilly, who did have other suitors from the Premiership who were sniffing around and making inquiries. But he says, as soon as I spoke to the manager, bang, that was it. Job done. I packed my case and up the road. But I'm sure it wasn't on the basis of sign for us now. In 2 years' time, I'll see you at Liverpool.
It's very interesting. Interesting as well, Johnny, because you get the interview with Seagrass this week, who's just joined. And, I know you're quite enthusiastic about that. So am I. I think it's a brilliant move. But Seagrass actually said in his interview, it was very interesting. Once I'd spoke to the man, so it was the manager who did the negotiations with him to sign for Celtic. Was not you know, he was phoned by Matt Nicholson, who you were talking about, or Matt Lowell, who I was talking about. It's fucking Ange who's phoning him, mate.
Yeah.
Ange, see when Ange Postecoglou, particularly if you're involved in the Scottish environment now. Yes, it's a small pond. I get that. But Ange is now a shark, right, in Scottish football. If he's personally calling you, you've signed, mate. You've signed the second you hear his voice. And then I love that personal touch. I love the fact Ange hasn't left it to a Mark Nicholson or a Matt Lawwell, or is it Michael Nicholson? Mark Nicholson. One of the two. I like the fact he's not left it to either of these boardroom guys or whatever. He's doing it himself. I think that instantly gets the buy-in from the player as well, Johnny. I think that's
Let's face it, who can sell a man's style of play better than the man who's setting out that style of play?
It's not how modern football works, though. We have to be honest.
It's not. But, you know, it's I think Ange pretty much is ripping up rule books and right, left and centre, though, isn't he?
Agreed. And he has definitely shown us that the structure Eddie Howe, for example, was looking for, with all these 27 many men, may well not always be necessary to have success. We now have a leader. He has an identity. And we're all very excited to see what is going to be, I think, in the next 7 days, blockbuster moves. My hunch is Celtic will release the home kit within the next 7 days, and it'll be Jota wearing it. It's not IT. I don't do ITK. I don't kid on like.
Have you not asked David now?
Well, ITL, mate, that would be, and you know, I wouldn't dare steal his thunder. But I heard the wee sausage. You know what I mean? Oh, when I was at Celtic Park, I seen a family walking in, but I couldn't say who. What a load of shite. We Hilly Cropper should wind all that stuff in. This is a guy who put a green tick in a group chat because Steven Gerrard was interested in Aston Villa. I mean, my Doug knew that. But it's embarrassing. But anyway, Johnny, what a guest you've been. But we're not done yet. It's time not to back down. It's time to double down. And
wait a minute. I've already double dooned when I agreed to after my son threw me under the fucking bus.
And you are the bus driver.
I did have a bit look underneath it, and she's looking all right. I think she'll pass her MOT.
And so in the Double Doon t-shirt, you also drive a bus. And your laddies on the TNF, mate, it's all intertwining, mate. All intertwining. We've got better give a wee shout out for Dell, because I swear to God, his thumbs must be black and blue. He has been on his phone, pushed for the last 6 hours, but he's doing a wonderful thing for a wonderful cause. I did share.
Was that team captain from last night? Yeah.
Dell's a good lad. I mean, he's a brilliant lad. He's doing an amazing thing. He's walking from Wishaw to Carlisle. All in the name of charity, and he's now thanking everyone for the donations. He's thanking everyone for the donations. It's well deserved. I will be donating on Monday. As I say, I'm not someone who's affluently, you know, I'm not sitting here loaded, mate. I get paid Monday. Dell, I look forward to sending you some cash, mate, and keep up the great work. But honestly, mate, put the phone down, Just a joke, girl. Right, okay. Johnny, it is time to play the quiz. I've still not got the technology. I know, mate, but it's what we do, mate. It's what we do. You can handle it, mate. You've took this in your stride.
I'm still here. Don't worry.
Oh, don't worry about that, mate. Kansas Stella, love it, mate. That's you. Yeah, that's an extra bonus 45 points already. Right, okay. So we will get up the old stopwatch sponsored by Bill Gates and Microsoft. We're always grateful to them because their sponsorship means the world to us, because I don't know how to get a stopwatch up. Are you ready to back down or double down, Johnny?
Don't think I've got any choice, really, am I?
You don't, actually, to be fair. Do you know the rules? You've got lifelines. You can double down, mate. You need to double down on one of the questions, whatever one it is, and you get double points. Even I forgot to do it when Phil did it with me.
I know.
Back down means a quick pass, and if you flip it, you could get an alternative question that might be a hell of a lot easier, or could be a hell of a lot harder, depending on what level you're on. It is just a random question. And the quicker you do it, of course, the more points you get. It is the Double Doon quiz. You are our second last random guest. Did you know that, to do this?
No, I didn't know.
Because next season, all the contributors, I've now built a team, right? And I have not intentionally done any of this shit, right? But I have now got this squad, the Boise bus. I'm so proud of every single one of them. It's unbelievable, right? They're the soundest bunch of fuckers you could ever meet. And yet they all just want a wee bit more. And I'm like, right, sound. You're on. You can come back on. You can come back. Before you know it, you've got to give them shows. And it's like, we're going 7 days. We're going to have to go 7 days because I can't actually keep up with the amount of folk. It's the best buzz ever. So
I've got to say, before you go into that, the Bhoycie, the nostalgia bus is absolutely fantastic, by the way.
But Phil McKinley, nostalgia. He's just a genius. He deserves every bit of praise for that. I'm glad you've highlighted that, mate.
Oh, I mean, the work he puts in that. I'm delaying now, by the way, but the work he puts into that is phenomenal.
Sensational, mate. It's sensational. Phil deserves every bit of respect. As I've told him a million times, and this is the truth. I don't bullshit, by the way. I just said to Phil, I'll enjoy having you on the bus whilst I've got you. When you go, there'll be no better feelings or hard feelings. It's sound. Because I know he's going one way. You know what I mean? He's a genius, mate. He's a genius. And the effort, as you say, is so noticeable in the shows. I rely on talking shite, you know what I mean? Let's play the Double Doon quiz, mate. You ready?
I'm ready. I go on.
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it right. We need to get some dramatic music for this next year. Where's Phil? Phil, we need dramatic music and we need a better stop clock. Right, let's back down. Don't back down, Double Doon. Let's go. Okay, what nationality is new goalkeeper Ben Segrest?
Swiss.
Question number 2. Which former Celt has signed a 2-year deal with Lenny Ammonia Nicosia this week?
Oh, Adam Matthews.
Name the 2 English clubs' new coach Harry Kewell played
Crawley and
for.
Barnett.
Not play.
No, Crawley and Barnett.
You've got it wrong, mate. Question number 4.
Crawley and Oldham, then.
No, you can't just keep come on, I'm not going to start, but come on.
Oh,
What shirt number was Dion Dublin?
Flip that.
Flip it. I like it. I like it. Who did Gary Hooper leave Celtic for? Good. Question number 5. Name. This is tough. Which Spanish club did you want me to leave Celtic for?
Villarreal. Seville. No, Seville.
No. Well, name 4.
Fuck it. Double Doon.
Ah, yes, mate. Right. Chris Sutton. Come on.
Norwich.
Yep.
Blackburn.
Yep.
Chelsea.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Think then post Celtic.
Oh, Aston Villa.
Yay! My man. That was. I said to your son that it was a wee bit tough tonight. I'll be honest. I thought it was a bit tough tonight.
If you hadn't given me a clue with that if you hadn't thought post Celtic, I wouldn't have got that, to be honest with you, the last one, but
yeah, I was 4 clubs is a lot, though, to be honest. Like, I did, Steve, it's funny, because see, when I do the quizzes, I do them just completely in tunnel vision, I just do the quiz, and then you read it back, do you know what I mean? Like half an hour later, and you go, oof. Or sometimes I go, oh, is that too easy? And I thought tonight, I did say to David, I went, I don't know, man. I think it might be a wee bit tough tonight. And he goes, oh, fuck it, my dad doesn't care about that anyway.
No, it's all right. He still used to throw me under a fucking bus, isn't
he? Right. Let's go through it, mate. Let's go through it. Because I think you did pretty well. I'm going to be honest. I think you did well. What nationality is Ben Segrest? You were spot on. It's 5 points. It is Swiss. Question number 2. Which former Celtic? You struggled at first to say.
I did, big
You were
time.
gonna-
I knew it was, but I just couldn't come up with a name.
Jane, you were going to say Near Beaton.
No.
Adam Matthews, you were right. It's all good. Question number 3.
He's been at Barnet, I'm sure he has.
You're not reading it. Go read it again.
Or
Read
played
it.
for? Ah, fuck off. I
You
knew you were
didn't
going to ask
listen.
about him, and I thought he'd be
I
manager.
told you. I said to you when you're not listening to the question, mate. I did like you were just doing internal vision. And you went, "Oh, it must be."
I told you
Still-
earlier on who the fuck it was, Leeds and Liverpool. Fuck's sake, what's what?
It just, I mean, I was annoyed, not annoyed with you, but I was just annoyed at times that he's because I've put the word coach, Harry Hill. That is a bit of a, I suppose it's a wee bit naughty. It's
I'll
a bit
blame you
naughty.
for that then, Bhoycie.
Yeah, I'll take that on the chin, mate. I'll take it on the chin. Dion Dublin, you flipped. I've not even checked it yet. I am convinced Dion Dublin was number 9 at Celtic. He took
I am
off Chris
shit at
Sutton.
squad numbers.
Aye. What people are. And what people are.
It's because I hate squad numbers. I'm a 1 to 11 kind of guy. I just hate squad numbers anyway.
Did you prefer them on the shorts or on the shirt?
Oh, the shorts all day long.
It looks better, eh? It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Celtic thing that as well. It was unique. It was iconic.
I liked
Yeah,
it when Fergus tried to get round it and put the numbers on the sleeves.
Aye. It's weird that they don't like allow unique stuff like that. By the way, it'll change again because they'll start using the back of a jersey. It'll be a huge emblazoned, Amazon sponsor or something on shirts. I guarantee it. This was tough.
You never done my flip it question.
Oh, sorry, you flip it. I beg your pardon. Sorry, you were right. Sorry, right. 1, 2, right. What question was number 4? Which is 30 points. You got it right. Norwich City. That's good. You're up to 45. Then we get to question 5. Jeremy Albi left for Levante. That was shite. That was a tough one. That was maybe when I was at all. Nah, that was it all. That was it all though. You Double Doon though on the last question for the most points. 50-point question. You get 100 for this because you nailed it. Do you think you could get the other club?
Say again?
Do you think you could get the other club? So there was 5 top flight. You got
No.
Norwich, Blackburn, Chelsea. Then it was post Celtic, Aston Villa,
Yeah.
Birmingham City. He went to Villa to
So he
Birmingham
did.
as if his career wasn't controversial enough.
Yeah.
Even at 33, he left Villa for Birmingham.
So it's a wonder didn't they finish
Every
off and
time-
go across the other side of Glasgow?
I know. Well, no, he would never.
No, he wouldn't do that.
never.
No,
No,
he's got more about
he's
him than that.
He's a bigger Celtic fan than us. Honest, I think he is. But you also completed the quiz with it between 1 and 2 minutes, which is brilliant. So that gets you. I can't remember what the quiz rules are. Between 1 and 2 is 40. 40. You've done all right. 15, 45, 185, mate. I would say.
I'm more than happy with that.
Aye, mate. I would say you're challenging for the top 6 in the EPL. If it was the EPL, you're challenging top 6. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're the upstart, mate, pushing the likes of Spurs and that for a Champions League slot. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon?
I think that's where you're at, mate. It's a good place to be, mate.
My first tactic was just get them all wrong in less than a minute and get 50 points.
Look at Brown Warrior coming in. He is honestly have a day off you. I love you, Brown, but come on. The players don't need to look up on the shots to know who they're passing to. That's why. Oh, maybe he's having a laugh. I thought he's been technical about with the numbers. Well, sorry, Brown. Maybe I've read that wrong. But I just think I think inevitably the numbers of the shots might become a thing again. Do you know that? I think the back of a jersey for sponsorship material is just too inviting for the big companies and they'll end up taking it up. It's particularly when there's diddies out there like Anthony Martial. I was listening to Talk Sport 2 days ago or today, whenever it was, Anthony Marshall's on 240 grand a week. I'm better at football than Anthony Marshall. Do you know what I mean?
David's better than football, and he's told you how bad he is.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, just ridiculous. Like, 240 grand. I'm like, that's £1 million a month. So these costs need to be solved somehow. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if the back of a jersey. I know Celtic got to do it with the Magnus thing, but that becomes like no number on there. It's like proper emblazoned across. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. You know that?
No. I mean, like I say, well, that's why they keep the backs clear for Champions League now, isn't it? At the minute, it's for numbers and names, but it's going to change, isn't it?
I think so. There's Paul McFarlane giving you a big compliment. Listen, Johnny, we're going to shut off now. We've been an hour and 10 minutes. We've had over 100 people watching us all night tonight. See all yous. I just want to say thank you so much. And I want to see you guys live. Give me 2 seconds, in fact, because I do believe incoming carrier pigeon, we may well have the new Boise bus flyer, because obviously tonight was the night of big announcement, wasn't it, Johnny? Tonight was the night we announced we go on tour. Well, I say tour. It's one gig. But we're going to go live. Do you know why? Because I just believe that the bus is, I don't know, it's maybe cheesy, but I just think the bus is stronger, like with the connection between fans of Celtic and the podcasters of Celtic, if you like, on the bus. I just believe there's total unity, which I don't think is a part. I think generally a lot of podcasts, I don't mean just necessarily Celtic ones, by the way, before anyone gets so fucking offended for nothing. I think in general the podcasters are just fans, and they need to take a wee step back and realise that we're all in this together. I would love to meet half these bastards, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, everyone in that chat, Brown Warrior, Stevie Kenny's, Feed the Bear, you know what I mean? Donny Boy, I want to, Scott Howe, I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand and say, what's happening? Like, it's not about, it's not about like, thanks for coming to watch this podcast. We're not even ticketing it. Do you know what I mean? We're not even ticketing it, because the first gig is all about getting everyone together. Just getting this bus live. Doing what is the right thing to do. And sodding being always a StreamYard personality, on our YouTube. Fuck that. I'm better in person. And I know by the comments that we get, I know folk, like, they're people's people, if that makes sense. I just think it'd be great to shake everyone's pod, you know what I mean, Johnny, and just say hello.
What your podcast reminds me of is my active days of going to Celtic games and being on the supporters bus. That, we talk about just guys in the pub, but now this is my substitute for being on the supporters bus when you're doing your pre-match push. Admittedly, I'd be one of the old boys down the front with a flask of coffee nowadays, rather than the youngers up the back with a fucking Stella and whatnot. But that's what it is, and it's just normal. I mean, like, some of the guys that have come on here over the last few months, some of them are absolutely brilliant, and the knowledge is just great.
Unreal. Yeah, I've been blessed by everyone who's came on. David Logue says he's very proud, very proud. Gary Brown saying, arrange your night then. Well, Gary, all I can do is share the screen, and then we're going to listen to Chris Sutton. Me and Johnny are going to have a beer off camera once this is done. I bid you all good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Bhoycie Bars. It's been Friday night. It's been the Double Doon Show. Johnny Logue, what a guest.
Cheers, folks.
Hey!
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.